Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. Before I jump into it, a very quick reminder that I'll be putting my course, Learn Pure Elliott Wave online course, on sale next week, so watch this space for a short 48-hour sale next week, and I'll announce it on this channel. 22 lessons, some extremely unique learning exercises, and I'll have a really big discount for you next week. Bitcoin remains within this consolidation. Yesterday's session was downwards, still finding support at the 50-day moving average. That's the purple one. The green one is the 200-day moving average. It's still within this rectangle, moving sideways. Resistance is in a little zone from 71,500 to 73,100. Support in a slightly wider zone, 60,700 to 58,200. We need to see a break above resistance or below support to have confidence that the market has finished this consolidation and the larger trend has resumed. On Monday, I'll have a look at what happened previously when Bitcoin reached prior major all-time highs after a big bear market. How long did it consolidate before it broke through and started to move up and away? Volume is declining as price moves sideways. That's normal behavior during a consolidation. On balance, volume is still within this range and these lines are converging, so we will get a signal soon, hopefully. ADX is still declining. There's no clear trend. When there's no trend, I'll revert to a model of stochastics plus support and resistance. Price has got a little way to go before it reaches support. Stochastics is heading lower. There's a little way to go before it reaches oversold. We may see stochastics reach oversold and price reach support, and if they do that simultaneously, that may be where and when the downward swing ends. Ethereum on the daily also moving a little bit lower yesterday. Resistance 3680, support 3200, approaching the 50-day moving average. That may provide a little bit of support and initiate a little bounce. Volume declining also as Ethereum moves lower. Recently, very strong volume on strong upward sessions, which also had a strong increase in range. So volatility and volume remain to the upside. That's bullish for Ethereum. This downward movement looks like a pullback within an ongoing bullish movement. ADX is declining. There's no trend for Ethereum either, and so a model of stochastics plus support and resistance tells us that stochastics is just beginning to enter oversold. Price is not at support yet, so let's expect price to continue lower and stochastics to continue properly into oversold, and when they're both at support for price and oversold for stochastics simultaneously, that may be where and when the downward swing ends, and it may be coming up sooner rather than later now as stochastics is beginning to enter oversold. Someone asked me how I got my targets for XRP, so I'm going to take a look at the monthly chart with all of the data for XRP. I've just checked my calculation and slightly adjusted it. I changed data from Yahoo Finance data to Crypto Compare data, and it makes just a little bit of a difference, so I'll just be consistent with this data now. This is the entire price history of XRP. My main Elliott Wave count sees from this low in 2014 to this high in 2018 a 5-wave impulse. I'll label that cycle wave 1. It's an impulse, primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 is a triangle, 2 is a zigzag, nice alternation. 3 is 14.72 times the length of 1. So that's the ratio I'm using to calculate these targets for these third waves, because this is how long a big third wave was in the past, so it's possible and realistic for this market, if this is the correct wave count, that a third wave in the future could again be a similar or same length. And so that gives us a target for primary 3 at 28.84. And considering a Fibonacci duration of 3 years, it could end in November 2025. The same target ratio applied to calculate a target for cycle 3 gives it 40.67. Considering it could last a Fibonacci 8 years, it may end in March 2028. These third waves, cycle 3, primary 3, intermediate 3, may only subdivide as impulses. And at the ends, the fifth waves to end them would most likely have vertical upward movement ending in blow-off tops. Vertical like this. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. This high here of intermediate 1 and the low of intermediate 2 is this high and this low. Intermediate 2 could be complete here as a double zigzag. It could also move lower as a triple zigzag, although the low probability of a triple zigzag means the probability of it continuing lower is quite low. It's possible though, so I leave the invalidation point down here. 2 may not move on beyond the start of 1 below 0.2794. Target here the same as at the daily time, monthly time frame. The daily chart, the low of intermediate 2 is this low down here. Now starting intermediate 3, we could have, I'm going to label minor wave 1 incomplete. I think this is too brief for minor wave 1, so this may be minute 1 within minor 1. Minute 1 complete here. Minute 2 could be a zigzag. A, B, C. I think this has the best look. It could continue lower though If we saw B complete here and we label it like this, a fifth wave could end at or beyond the end of the third, but 2 may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.4309. So this labeling expects one more low at or below 0.4565, but not below 0.4309. But I think this labeling has a better look. Now, a quick reminder, this is my main monthly chart. A 5-wave impulse here, double zigzag here, leading diagonal here, zigzag, another leading diagonal, another zigzag, or still seeing this in the same way as a 5-wave impulse, but instead of correction, motive wave structure, correction, motive wave structure, what if this sideways movement is a huge triangle? Elliott wave triangles are always continuation patterns. They are never reversal patterns. They are B waves, fourth waves, Y waves, or Z waves. That's it. You can't see them as terminal structures. So for this potential triangle, the angle of entry or the trend preceding it was up, which means the trend out of it should be up. So I've tried to find a bearish wave count for XRP. I can't find one that makes sense in terms of Elliott wave rules, but this is my alternate, and it's actually playing out okay. We would still expect to see a C wave up, maybe about even in length with A, so this is not as bullish, but it is still bullish. And so cycle wave B could now be a complete regular contracting triangle, single zigzag for A, double zigzag for B, single zigzag for C, single zigzag for D, single zigzag for E. Now C has moved slightly below the end of A, so there's no truncation in this zigzag for E, and the end of primary wave E has very slightly overshot the AC trend line. That's a really common look for E waves. So this actually now has a pretty good look. If it continues any lower, primary E may not move beyond the end of C below 0.2794, a fraction of a cent on a tick chart below that price point is enough to invalidate this Elliott wave count, because that Elliott wave rule is absolute. This wave count now expects a 5-wave motive structure higher for cycle C to move probably substantially beyond the end of A, and a target would be just 3.1861. That's where cycle C would reach equality in length with cycle A, the most common relationship between A and C within a zigzag. Very quickly, technicals on the daily for XRP, it's moving a little bit lower. Resistance at 49 cents, support below quite strong at 46 cents. There was an ascending triangle here. Classic ascending triangles are either continuation or reversal patterns, whereas Elliott wave triangles are always continuation patterns. Ascending triangles most commonly break out upwards, so that's what I was expecting on balance of probability. That's not what happened, it broke out downward. So using the base of the triangle as the width, added that to the breakout point, I get a target at 0.4227, but there's pretty strong support for XRP here at 0.46, so I need to see that area broken with a close below it, preferably with a bit of push from volume, although it's not necessary, in order to have real confidence in this target from this triangle. Price has moved sideways from the triangle, overall volume is declining, a bit of push on the breakout day. So we have confidence in that downward breakout. The downward breakout from the ascending triangle also came with a bearish signal as on balance volume broke out of its support and resistance lines, so that adds confidence to the breakout from the triangle. ADX is telling us there's a downward trend, there's a ways to go before it reaches extreme. RSI is not oversold, but it did just reach oversold on the 13th of April. That strongly suggests that the 13th of April low might actually remain intact for quite some time. That supports the Elliott wave count. Money flows neutral, there's a long way to go before the trend reaches extreme and conditions get deeply oversold. ATR starting to show just a tiny bit of an increase, but not really very much. If there is a bear market here to continue quite a lot lower, I'd expect to see an increase in volume and volatility, but we're not seeing that, so this looks like a counter trend movement most likely. At the daily time frame, this is the remaining Elliott wave count for Solana. The bullish Elliott wave count was invalidated several days ago, and so I'll expect Solana to most likely move lower. What I want to draw your attention to today is how it's behaving around the base channel. This is minor wave 1 and 2. I've drawn a base channel from the start of 1 to the end of 2 with a copy on the end of 1. A base channel should be breached in the direction of the trend. In this case, this trend is down when a third wave has the power to do so, and this adds confidence that a third wave should be unfolding. So this breach today of the base channel, or at least strong overshoot, adds some confidence in this wave count. A third wave at multiple degrees could be moving lower for Solana. Daily technicals, it had resistance at 157, now starting to move away. Quite a lot of room below before it hits next support at 118. But actually I'm going to add another support line across these lows and this close and this open, about 127. So next support looks likely to be at about 127. Volume is still moving lower as price moves lower. ADX tells us there's a downward trend for Solana in a relatively early stage. This is an extremely bearish look for ADX. This offers quite a lot of strong support to the Elliott Wave count. RSI is neutral, a ways to go before it reaches oversold. Money flow also neutral. Range starting to show a little bit of an increase. That's exactly what I'd be expecting to see if this is a third wave at multiple low degrees. And so that supports the Elliott Wave count. That's it from me today with your quick update. I hope everyone's looking forward to a fantastic weekend.